A very important and impressing activity in school or university is storytelling. So when I talk to my pupils and my personal impressions, which I had last year when thousands of refugees arrived at the Südbahnhof main station here in Vienna, I always tell them one situation when I met a man from Syria. He was about 50 years old with 5 little children. They were aged 6 up to 11 years. And I asked him where he's going, and he said, "Oh, I'm waiting for the train to Germany." And I asked, "Is this your family? Are these your children?" He said, "No, I have no family, not anymore. I collected these children. They lost their parents, they lost their brothers and sisters during my long march from Syria to Greece, to Turkey, to Hungary and Austria." And he told me a lot of very impressive things, and I told this several times to friends, and they were so moved. And I think that's very important that you, if you're working with pupils and make them aware of the situation of the migrants and refugees, you have to communicate your personal feeling or personal experiences. You also can ask your students if they could ask their grandparents or relatives if they ever have been in a situation or know somebody who has been in a situation former times, in a similar situation, in a situation when they had to leave their country and were on the run and fleeing a situation like war. But you also can show your students videos. There's a big collection of UNICEF videos which you find on YouTube, and they are really very moving stories of single persons who were fleeing. So you find the link on the slide. Interesting activity would be also a discussion about migrant flows. Where do the migrants come from and where do they go? All over the world. And you find a very interesting link. It's on Migration IOM in Europe. And then you can start an activity and make your students or pupils pack an imaginary bag. Let them imagine that there was an earthquake, fire, flood, or another natural catastrophe, and within 10 minutes they have to put 10 important things in their bag. What would they take? And then you can also go on and say, and if it was war and you had to leave because of bombs, what would you have to leave at home? Your friends, your house, your school, so you can let them make a list and start a discussion about it. And you also can ask them, where would you go? And you have a big map, and you use multicolored strings and needles or pins on this bag, and you can make the routes, the imaginary routes of your students visible. There's another very interesting possibility to offer the children this computer game from the UNHCR. It's called Against All Dots. It's in odds, it's in some languages, but also in English. You have the link there, and there is a citation. I will do a citation of the description of this very good computer game for the teachers. People become refugees when one or more of their fundamental human rights are threatened and violated, and they are forced to flee. Nobody chooses to become a refugee. A refugee is not just a foreigner. Living in exile often means initially having to depend on the goodwill of the others, or for basic necessities such as food, shelter and clothing, as well as to feel welcomed in their new communities.